Okay, we're beginning. I am going to do a 15-minute sketch, which I've been doing as sort of a warm-up thing, but because it is May the 4th, and therefore May the 4th be with you day, I am going to attempt to do a old man Luke Skywalker, which I have never drawn. I don't even know if I've ever drawn Luke Skywalker, at least not since I was a kid. So I don't anticipate this to be my best work. It's a warm-up, it's Star Wars, and we are happy go-go's. So he's like, I'm old man Luke. That's not what he says. He says nothing. Do 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 do. And here's his funky hair, which I appreciate the way his hair was. This is spoilers, by the way, for Force Awakens. So if you haven't seen it, then leave. I appreciate the way his hair looks all crazy because he's this like old, disillusioned hermit on top of the mountain now. But I hope they trim it up. Like I like him with the beard and the more distinguished, Obi-Wan kind of thing going on, but I hope that they trim it up for the next movie when, hopefully he takes more of an active role in the story. And now I'm going to go to a smaller brush. This isn't always how I work, but a lot of times when I'm sketching quick, I'll do it this way where I use a big fat brush with a low opacity, and then I get skinnier with the brush and heavier with the opacity as I go. That way I can get a somewhat finished looking product at the end of a quick sketch, and I've never been great at just going in and doing it. I mean, if I'm doing like a caricature or something, maybe, but I don't know. I find it hard to just go in with final lines. I used to do that, like a lot of people do, but I think all the years of like reading books and going to art school and things like that kind of hammered it into my head of like do roughs, refine, 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 which makes it really hard to do a quick sketch in some ways. And especially something like this, where I'm not going for a perfect likeness. I'm certainly not a realistic sort of artist, but at least enough that people could recognize, oh, that's a cartoon, that's a comic of Luke Skywalker from The Force Awakens. His eyes are so dark in this movie. I'm looking at a reference picture actually. I'll scooch that over real quick just so you can see. I'm looking at this, and you can't see that, can you? All right, I'll show you later. But I mean, he's only in the movie for a few seconds, so you get the idea of what I'm basing it on. Right now, he almost looks like Anakin. He's too young looking, but we'll hopefully fix that. Anakin from the third prequel movie, I mean. Excuse my clear throating. And he's all like, "Oh, what is that? Who are you? That's a lightsaber. I'm gonna not say anything and give kind of a concerned but vague expression so that they could write whatever they want in the next movie." Brr. This is not looking much like him at this point, so we gotta. A big part of it's gonna be this crazy beard. It's got like a weird shape to it, and then it's got some white in it. That's helping a little bit. It doesn't go quite up as high on the cheeks as I did it, but that's fine. He's also got kind of a mole here that he's had since he was young. That helps everybody know it's Mr. Luke. Mr. J. He also does the voice of Joker. I was doing a bad impersonation of the Harley Quinn, but Mark Hamill does the voice of the Joker most famously, which is why that came to mind. Hi-yo! All right, and again, more bags. Choo-choo. And that's teeth, not dots, and a little bit of white. Some white in there, although it needs to be dark first. Okay, so then I'm going to take this, bring it down to 25, take this, bring it down to 50. These are on different layers. And go in again. And I was using a 45 diameter loose brush. Now I'm going to go to 27. Still at 75% opacity overall. And yeah, these eyes definitely, actually, hold on. Let me readjust that. Goes up, but it almost comes down. I was doing it sort of like straight across, but it actually kind of comes down a little bit more. And of course, I'm abstracting it and cartoonifying it, but I wanted to mimic what he's got to do. And then I get quiet as a sketch. Sketching a roo. I wonder if I'm accidentally streaming this live. Because I just really want to record it, but it does go through Picardo. Nope, it's not. Hooray! It's just a recording. because I didn't announce this to anybody or, you know, I know I'm not a big fan of the live thing. I've done a few Picardo streams and I've done a few Periscopes, but I find it's just more distracting. Like I've hard enough time doing what I'm doing. I don't mind so much if I'm talking like this, and like I like doing like Artcasters or things like that where you're chatting, but having to look at the text and respond and yeah, I find it very difficult to multitask. Especially, I mean, I guess if I'm just kind of on there, I guess the people who do it are like, hey, I'm gonna be on here for a few hours and just mess around or whatever, and that makes more sense. But usually I have a purpose in mind and I have a time frame, and so it's a little bit more difficult to split my attention, and I feel the time slipping away. I mean, also I'm putting myself on this 15-minute time limit, which I'm a little bit loose with. Like right now, I have 9 minutes 13 seconds left, but you know, I stopped once to move my cat, and I did something. You know, like there's a few little things that stop me for a second or two. So usually when I get to the end, I'll be a little bit generous with myself if I need another minute or so to put a color in or finish a line or something, because I know it wasn't a strict 15 when I went. I mean, I want it to be 15 minutes. That's the whole point of the exercise. But I want it to actually be 15, not, you know, 13 and a half once you take out how I had to save and my phone rang and all that kind of stuff happens. And this is coming out kind of mediocre in my opinion so far in terms of the likeness. And again, it's weird because I don't like going for likenesses and I'm not really going for a likeness, but I want it to be recognizable as the character. And this is something usually I would draw a few different times in a few different styles to kind of get to what I think represents the character most iconically without trying to worry about making it look like Mark Hamill, the actor. And this, I made this difficult on myself because while this character's been in a bunch of films, this is the first time we've seen him in this form. We don't know much about his personality or anything yet, you know, how it may have changed over the years. And you know, I only have like one or two photos I could even look at. So I'm not only am I trying to do it the first time, but it's kind of a weird character to do. But I am a big Luke Skywalker fan, and I don't know. Rather than choose one of the old photos, I figured I'd go with a new one. But I don't know, making things difficult is, you know, this isn't a job I'm doing right now. This isn't for anybody or for anything. It's so this is the time to experiment and make things difficult and fail because it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the fact that I'm making a video to share with people, but I think I've put out enough videos and done enough work that no one's going to look at this and judge me on the quality of this one video, this one image, which I think used to be my fear when I had less out there. But I think people now, if they know me at all, know me from the 100 Days of Making Comics and from my comic, The Horror 4, and things like that. My Godzilla prints, you know. So this is not only is this not you know representative of my normal style and what I normally do, but it's also it's not even in the wheelhouse of the things I normally do. So my point is that you know while I do fear failure and I do feel it's not coming out as good as I would like, and people judging me, and I don't even mean judging me like oh you suck that's terrible, but just thinking oh he's not as good as I thought, or maybe I don't need to follow this artist or whatever. I don't worry about that as much as I once did. This is for me, and I hope other people enjoy it, maybe get something out of it. You know, I like to watch videos of people working, even if their work isn't my favorite work. I just enjoy it's like having a buddy in the studio with you, especially when they're talking, which is why I talk as opposed to doing a speed with music over it. And there's nothing wrong with that sort of thing, but it doesn't give me what I'm looking for because I'm drawing. You know, I mostly watch this stuff when I'm drawing, and I imagine most people watching this are artists or up and come art students, you know, that are working in some capacity and so maybe you get a few artistic tips and tricks by watching the way I do things, which again is just my personal style. It's not something I'm saying this is the way to do it. But if nothing else, you get a little bit of company while you're working alone, which I think a lot of artists enjoy. And when you're working, it's hard to look up. So you just look up every once in a while, as opposed to if it's, you know, essentially a music video or speed. And that's why speed videos are better because if it's only a couple minutes, it just kind of gives you a rough idea. But a real lifetime, what do you call it, a real time video like this, where you're seeing me draw in the time and the order I draw in. If I wasn't speaking, I think I'm limiting my audience. That's just my personal opinion, and a lot of it's based on what I enjoy, which I guess is what all art is really, except when you're being paid for it. And even then, you're going to make choices. Even if you're working on some corporate client about something you do not care about, you're still going to make artistic choices to make it good to your eyes. So, you know, art is nothing if not subjective. And so while this is a video, you know, and I'm not calling this video art necessarily, but it falls within, you know, creativity and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of personal choice. So of course, being that I don't have a client, it's being influenced by the type of videos I like to watch, and therefore I make it to be a video I'd want to watch. I'm repeating myself, but that's okay. I'm filling dead air. The air was dead, and then I filled it with life. It was repeated life, kind of the same life over and over again, but it was life. All right, that's good. Next phase. So then I'm going to go in here, make this one 10%, make this one 25%, make the one I just did 75. You know, actually, I'm not going to have time to do another pass. I would like to do another pass, but I'm gonna leave this at 100%. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some color splashes. I got about 4.5 minutes left on the official clock, and I'm going to put a quick save in here. Save as May the fourth Star Wars, Luke Skywalker 2016, #2. All right. Oh, you know what? Before I put the color in, I'm going to put a little bit of white for his eye bones. You almost always want to have some white in the eyes, otherwise they look dead. Cover that back up. Yeah. So like I said, this isn't the best. Like I'm going to throw in a couple more crazy hairs, maybe even more than he has, but to kind of complete that crazy look. And a couple more lines on his face. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's not as good as I'd like it to be. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That could be the autobiography of my life as an artist. Not as good as I wanted, but not as bad as I thought. The life and works of Gazbot Gaz Gretzky. All right, and he actually has another little mole here. I'll just do that. He's got a few moles, but like drawing each one is going to look weird, so I'll just kind of indicate. All right, so back to the color splashes. And like, yeah, this is different than how I would work if I had more time. I definitely refined it a few more times, and but we're not there. And so I'm just gonna, and I switch brushes to, I only made like a few custom brushes. This brush I actually made originally to do stubble, but I've been using it as kind of like a spray paint color by making it bigger. And he has sort of a gray cloak. A lot of people speculate that he'll be a gray Jedi, which is sort of an extended universe concept of um, sort of halfway between light side and dark side, more balanced. And then this is on 75 opacity, and then I make the brush smaller and go back in with the same opacity, and that gives me some little dark spots there. All right, and then his tunic is sort of a tannish. Back up. And then I'll go ahead and bring that down. And I think there's like a over tunic and then like a shirt under it that are slightly different colors, but I'm not going to really have time to mess with that, except as I say that, I'm going to just put this in just to make it a little more distinctive. It's not accurate, but it helps the drawing. All right, let me get some flesh color-ish. He's got a very red, orangey face. It's probably more, it's not bad. And if I have time, I'll put in some highlights. I'm just going to blast this in right now. Jojo, actually, I'll put it under here because a little bit of his skin would show through under his beard. But I don't want to get his eyes. I should have made this. Oh, this brush should be bigger. I still let it add the highlight color. Na 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 na. Coloring Luke up. He's an old guy. Still my favorite Star Wars man. Star Wars man. I don't know if he's my favorite Star Wars woman. I mean, Princess Leia is pretty badass, but I did like Rey, and I've still fallen to the promise of what Phasma could be. I mean, she's definitely this movie's Boba Fett in that she's cool looking and mysterious, and may not live up to that hype, and may find her true purpose in extended universe stuff like Boba Fett has. But okay, that's good enough for that. And then I'm gonna take the same color, just put a little highlight, and I'll put a little highlight, do 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 on the lip over here. Over hill, over dale, and then I'm going to put some shadow, and I'm actually going to put like a little bluish gray because his eyes look really like, oh, I might have to I might have to lighten that up again. He's going back into Anakin territory because I don't want him to look like an evil Sith, but he looks like his life has become very difficult in the intervening years. I'll put that on top. Yeah, that's better. So he hasn't slept, since the last movie he was in. All right, how are we doing on time? We have 30 seconds. So I'm definitely going to be cheating a little bit because I'm almost done here, but okay. And there's the beard. I'm going to have to go back over the beard with some whites to make that accurate. He's got a little white highlights, but it's easier to just put it all in dark and then go back and clean it up after the fact. And his hair is roughly the same color as his beard. Again, it's probably not exactly accurate, but... And there's my timer. All right, so I'm technically over time now for my 15 minutes, but I know I've spent at least a minute saving, pausing, looking at the clock, messing with the cat. So I'm gonna allow myself to cheat right there a little bit and just to finish this up. Oh, keep doing the small brush. Keep doing the small brush. All right, put a little dark, 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 dark in the hair. Dark, 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 dark in the hair. All right, and then do some highlights in the hair. Or, well, I guess they're more gray, but whatever, it's still a highlight. Down here, and in the mustache. You see it more in the beard than in the hair, I think, but I'll still put some in the hair. Harrison Ford had kind of almost like a dirty dark brown, I'm sorry, a dirty light brown or a dark blonde hair, but it's still like gray. And then in the figure, it just looks like light brown, and it really bugged me because the figure likeness of Harrison Ford was pretty good. I'm a toy collector too, for those that don't know, and it like I want to go in with like a brush and put some gray in there because it's driving me nuts. All right, the color really helped this, I think. All right, so there's that. I want to keep going, but I'm over time already. And Mark Hamill has blue eyes, I believe, but I'm going to make them kind of a dark gray blue because, again, he's become this hermit of the world. All right, and then I'll just throw a little background color in just to pop him out a little bit. And we're about a minute and a half over what I should be. And I'm going to give him green because he uses a green lightsaber last time we saw him. I'm going to switch it up and do this. And I'll do a little bit of lighter green. And then I'm going to fade this whole thing out to like 50%. Maybe I'll go 25. 25%? 50 was better. All right, I'm going to call it done. I'm going to stop the clock. So for those that are keeping track, it was 15. It was actually closer to 17 minutes, but I maintain that it was 15 hard minutes. And I'm going to cheat one more time to put just a little bit. I forgot to put a little bit of red to make him look a little bit more alive in his face. But I'm going to reduce this opacity to 25 since I should have layered it earlier. But I'll put a little bit of nose, a little bit on the lip, a little bit on the cheek, a little bit in the eye. Okay, there we go. I'm going to call that done. That is Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill from The Force Awakens. Not a perfect likeness, but more of a like comic book cartoon interpretation of the character. I've been Gazbot. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out my channel. I have toy reviews. I have art demos. I have progress reports on my comic, The Horror A4, which is an independent kaiju comic, the first issue of which was funded on a Kickstarter and will be coming out available to everyone else shortly. So thanks a lot, and have a good Force Day, and may the Force be with you. Star Wars Day is what it's called, not Force Day. Whatever. I love Star Wars and you.